Should California gerrymander itself even more? Welcome aboard. Woo woo. That's getting edited out.
Sorry.
All right, Jeremy. So here's the situation. Have you heard about, you know what gerrymandering is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you want to educate our group?
Sure. A long time ago, there was a guy named Gary, and his political party decided, hey, if we just cut up these areas of voters, we could actually get a seat or two. We could gain a seat or two over the political competition. And ironically, Gary was against this idea, but he signed off on it anyways. And so a newspaper saw it and they said, look, this shape looks like a salamander. We're going to call it a Gerrymander. So they printed that. And what happened was people read it and started saying gerrymandering. So what it is, it's a way to cut up political voting areas to get the results you want. So you could even have, let's say, 30% of the voters voting for your party, and you could still set it up where you actually have more representatives in the House of Reps than you actually should have. So that's what gerrymandering is. Okay. It's legal cheating.
Yep.
All right. So Texas has decided to turn around and say, you know what? We are going to recarve out our state. We're going to do a very rare mid-census redistricting of all our representatives and get 5 more Republican seats. So here's the problem. In Texas, it's about 56%-ish or so Republican and about 42%-ish of Democrats, and then there's independent voters in there as well. Even though they have 42% of the state being Democrats, they only have 34% of the representation.
Okay.
Makes sense?
I'm with you. Yep.
Texas is carving it out where the Republicans will get 5 more seats.
Okay.
Now, can they do that legally? Absolutely. And the blue states are now saying we're going to retaliate, but there's a problem with that. Massachusetts is 36% Republican. Guess how many Republicans are in the House of Reps from Massachusetts?
I don't know.
0. Not a single one. Connecticut is, I was surprised by this. 42% of people in Connecticut voted for Trump. You know how many Republican seats there are? None.
I could see Connecticut not having Republican seats.
Yeah. Maine. 46% of Maine is Republican. You know how many Republican seats there are?
0.
Exactly.
I can believe that in Maine. All of New England, really.
Okay, New Mexico is 46% Republican, New Hampshire 48% Republican, Rhode Island 42% Republican, Vermont 32% Republican, Hawaii, this surprised me, 38% Republican, Delaware 42% Republican. All those states together, guess how many Republicans are in the House of Reps from all those states?
I would like to say 10, but I bet the number's down near 1.
0. Not a single Republican seat. So they're so gerrymandered there, you can't gerrymander it anymore. It's impossible. California is 38% Republican. Republicans only have 9 out of 52 seats. And the way that the governor wants to gerrymander this state even further, it would leave Republicans with 7%.
Wait a minute. He wants to recoup all 5.
He wants to recoup all 5. But there's a problem. California has an independent districting commission, an independent board. For those of you at home, I am doing air quotes, independent board to redistrict. And even then, the Republicans are only getting about half representation that they should have.
Well, wait a minute. The problem I have with that is, how is the independent commission commissioned? Who chooses it? How does that work? I might have stumped Seth for a minute.
Okay, so Jeremy, this is actually how it is chosen. The California State Auditor, whoever that happens to be, they basically choose 20 Democrats, 20 Republicans, and 20 independents. From that, the state auditor randomly draws the first 8 commissioners. There'll be 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, and 2 independents. Now, the initial 8 commissioners then select 6 additional members, 2 from each group. So you end up with 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans, and 4 independents. Okay, so there's 14 people on this commission. Now, here's the problem. I remember when the first time they did this, some group came out and said, hey, here's a great map. We should do this map. Well, it turned out this independent group saying that this would be a fair map, it turned out it was, well, basically the Democrat Party. So they lied and said, oh, we're an independent group. And it was an independent group just fronting for the Democrats saying, here you go. That's a great map. You guys should consider this. And the group, it's a bunch of schlubs. They don't know what they're doing. They just rubber stamped it. So here's the problem. You can never have a fair map.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
You know how you get a fair map? We ask somebody from, Alaska to draw the map.
Well, the problem is Alaska tends to be conservative, but what if you happen to choose the liberals? So that's a problem. So I actually have an idea that may fix all this, and it's totally flawed. But what if you went by party registration or the last presidential vote? So let's say 40% voted one way, 60% voted the other way. And what would happen is you would vote 40% of that state's representation would be the blue party. And the other one be, the problem is you'd be voting for a party. Now you'd be left with the party choosing the representatives. So what if somebody from Northern California now represented Central California? And that's the party system that you have in England, and you have that kind of problem there.
I almost see your idea, though. What if you went by county or laid some sort of grid work that did not have to do with actual property lines?
Well, the problem,
which I know would come into issues when you're dividing cities. You're cutting right through the middle of something. But what if you laid some sort of grid work and you said 40% and 60%?
Well, the problem is these areas are supposed to be meeting certain criteria. One of them is they should represent right about the same number of people. So you can't have one district represent 1,000 people and another district represent 100,000 people. Okay, the district sizes need to be about the same.
I see that.
Now, the other thing is you're supposed to have communities of interest. The problem is, what does that mean?
That's the problem I have, is that communities of interest. No. I hate to say it this way, but I'm the sarcastic jerk. You're my monkey. You dance for me. I don't care what your opinion is. You're supposed to be for this neighborhood or this community or this whatever area we're in.
So you're saying the representative should represent the people in that area?
Yes, absolutely. That representative should represent those 100 blocks, whatever it is, whatever its size, city, whatever, however you're going to think of it.
The other group, this is now eliminated if I am correct. It used to be ethnic groups. So you needed to have, if you have a certain number of people who are African American, like me, you need to have an African American representative. If you have a certain number of Latinos, you have a Latino district. And to give you an example, in Illinois, there is a district that's the shape of a C. Now, at the top of the C, it's a full Latino district. At the bottom of the C, it's a Latino community. The only thing connecting them is literally a freeway. You can't live on the freeway. You have to go on the freeway to leave the southern half of that voting district to go to the northern half. And in the middle of the C is a black community. And my understanding is now you can't do that anymore. So you're left with this, hey, it needs to be the same size and a community of interest. But the big problem is, how do we get representation in the House of Representatives in a fair way? And I don't think there's a way to do it. But California's big problem is they can't do it without changing the Constitution. And right now people are saying, yeah, we don't want to go away from this districting commission. We want to leave it as is.
Yeah, no, I think that's the safest way to be. I really do like that about the California Constitution section, that yes, it should be independent. I'm a little nervous on how independent the independent is.
That's the problem.
But, I mean, let's face it. We still have the best working government in the world, and it sucks.
Government always sucks. There is no pure great government.
And so that's always the issue.
So do you think Texas is right in making 5 more Republican seats
Absolutely
or not?
No, I think no. I think redistricting at decades because we do a census makes sense. I think it has to be something more independent like California has compared to other states where they just blatantly do it whatever they want. But I don't think Texas is right, and I don't think California is right for trying to compete.
Let me tell you why you're completely, utterly, and totally wrong.
Okay.
I think Texas should do it, and I'll tell you why. Because the blue states already are doing it. So unless you have some of these New England states, like I mentioned a good 8, 9 states where you don't have a single person from the opposition party getting a vote, when clearly there is a significant, if not majority, significant opposition party support. If you have all these blue states doing it, red states need to start doing it too. You have to fight fire with fire. Yeah. But at some point, we do need to sit down and say, can we improve this system? And I do not think the federal government should be the one deciding, though.
No.
Maybe the states need to come up with a more fair system. And I think it's going to take time.
Yeah, I mean,
yes or no? Is there a good solution to this?
I don't think there's any one good solution. I think it's a mix. It's, and I hate to bring it back to things that I only understand because I know you've never done this. But when I manufactured bullets for a living, we had these machines and they would do 10 things at once. And if you adjusted, let's say, station 1, then you knew station 2 through 9 was going to be completely affected by what you did at station 1. And you had to kind of work your way around the system. And you knew if you did something at station 8, it was going to affect what you just did at station 1. You had to work in this symmetrical system. And I think that's the same thing. So I think in government, no, there isn't any one good answer. There isn't any one good solution because no matter what you do, it's going to change something else somewhere. And so you have to just keep kind of messing with every little thing all the way around in a circle until you get it all dialed in. And I think term limits is first, and term limits will kind of help kind of negate this whole gerrymandering thing. Because when you can't make a career of it, when it pretty much guarantees all this is doing is padding your resume.
Well, you know what? I really think the answer is out there. And you know who has the answer for sure? One of our listeners. What should they do right now to help us figure this out?
They should subscribe.
Really? I love that.
Ring the little notification bell.
Ding, ding.
And they should definitely tell us.
Oh, absolutely. What are your suggestions? How do we fix this? How do we make sure that everybody is represented in a fair way? Because I don't know if there is a fix.
And I'm going to throw one more thing.
What's your thing?
I don't know if it works or not, but I'm going to throw it out there. I'm wondering, it's a thought process. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. What about adding a third party like Canada has? Forcing at least one of the red or blue parties to have to work with somebody else, to at least sort of find a compromise.
That's a completely other task or talk that we need to get into. But at this point, I think you have one thing to say.
We'll see you at the next stop.
I love that.
Ring the little notification bell.
Ding, ding.
Woo, woo.
That's getting edited out.
Sorry.
All right.